So the scene starts off, and the crew is pulling up on Goku.
Uh, oh god, it's so bad. That is so funny. Okay. It is so funny, bro. It is so funny. Oh man. These people are weird, bro. These people are weird. I don't even have words. I really don't. What's up, human? Thanks for liking the live, brother. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know. It's hard to say. Could be anything. Humans come in two genders. There's two genders. For anybody who may be confused, there's only two. But humans can entertain either. One or the other. You can be born as one or the other. Your opinion does not dictate your biology. True. Very true. Hey, it's the guy that was here yesterday.
Hey,
What's up, bro?
what's up, man? How are you, my fellow flat earther?
No. Do you want to have a better conversation than we did yesterday? Or
Are
should
you
I
ready
just
for the ice wall? We need to get to the ice wall.
Okay. We're not talking to idiots today. I refuse. I refuse, bro. I refuse. You're gonna come back here 2 days in a row. You haven't changed a bit. You didn't do any maturing overnight, brother. You didn't read a book or talk to any adults in the past 24 hours. Nobody put you in your place, checked you. It's unfortunate, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. You are a product of your environment, bro. And what I mean by that is when you spend too much time with people that weaken you or that don't lift you up, like you eventually have a potential to become that. So just be careful who you surround yourself with. That is the moral of the story. You're a product of your environment.
Right, blood.
Oh, what's up?
What's happening?
What's up, brother?
Yo, I agree with you. The Earth is flat. I'm a flat earther as well.
Why? Why are you a flat earther?
Because like the thing that always got me is like when I fly on a plane, it's like if I'm going to another country, like when I'm flying, it's like why it doesn't feel like I'm sinking. Like if it was curved, then it'd feel like I was sinking, right?
What's the most what do you think's interesting about water?
I don't know, but do you know what I mean? Like the like sinking feeling.
No,
Like if it
no,
was
I don't
curved,
have an no. Couldn't tell you, buddy. I think you're fucking with me. Pretty sure you're fucking with me. There's not a lot of flat earthers that can't tell you the most interesting thing about water. That's what I mean. I'm not doing it tonight, bro. I don't care if this live is 10 minutes long. If I run out of guests, that's it. Um, Definitely not. Definitely so, brother. You guys you really act like you're creative or that you're original. You're not the first person to come up here and pretend to be a flat earther, and I really don't understand the motivation behind that. Like, what could you hope to gain from doing that? It really doesn't. Like, you don't really stand to gain anything from that interaction, from pretending to be a flat earther. Like, you gain nothing. And especially not on my live. Like, I don't even talk to flat earthers, so you're not gonna even gain airtime, you know? Like, you don't gain a friend, Well, you can, but somewhere else, maybe not here. I don't know. You guys are strange individuals, bro. Sled classes? Did you misspell that word, buddy? They already did an experiment for this. Why don't we talk about it? What experiment? I guarantee you it was probably just an observation, which is only the first step of the scientific method. Wow. You use a GPS? Yeah. We triangulate your position based off of cell phone towers. Genius. We also assume that the Earth is in a state of rest when we refer to a coordinate system. Look up ECIs. We assume the Earth is in a state of rest, a state of pure inertia. Our coordinate system would not work if it was moving. So we have to assume that the Earth is in a state of rest. That's the only way we can get a functional coordinate system. And you just immediately shift over to volcanoes. How would you explain volcanoes? Shut up. Just shut up. My God, man. You bring up GPS, get cooked, and then you like run away to some other topic. It's so strange. For the record, volcanoes are just an equalization of high pressure differentials and low pressure differentials. Not exactly proving that the Earth is curving, brother. Do you think molten hot magma and iron and nickel is boiling up from 3,959 miles to seek entropy through the crevice of a volcano here at the surface? Is that truly what you believe? You think it's a near 4,000-mile journey of lava seeking entropy through the surface of the Earth? That's what you believe? When we find magma like as early as a few thousand feet, you don't have to dig very far to find it. Why would it need to come from the Earth's core? Or actually, you would have burden of proof to prove that there is a core. What's up, Seeker? Did anybody see me talking to Focal Point? That's the only reason I'm on here. Sometimes I talk to Globies, and it's like, you know, there's a point in the discussion where I realize, like, what the hell am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, why am I talking to this idiot? Asking me how much curvature is at 100 miles. Asking me, right? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Do you have evidence that the Earth is curving? Is this gonna reach a point where we provide evidence of our claims, or are we just gonna do back and forth meaningless trivia that takes us nowhere in like this barrage of non sequiturs? Every single point that he brought up was a complete non sequitur. 80% of them were entirely semantical. It was such a sad conversation. And then it's like I bring up that like, dude, I'm about to leave because this is beneath me to even entertain. And he was so happy. He was like, "Yeah, bye." Like he was so happy because he knows, bro. He can't hang. Why do you think I block those people, bro? Oh man. All right, I'm not reading your comments anymore, brother. You have too much time on your hands. You can come up here and ask me your questions, or you can fuck off. I'm going back to like just muting people. I'm just gonna start doing that again. I'm not responding to comments anymore. It's always the same shit. Eratosthenes, yeah. Pre-assumed curvature of Earth, pre-assumed spherical trigonometry. I get it, I know. Didn't account for a discrepancy in elevation from Egypt to Greece. Assumed a distant sun. That's a major flaw. Did not prove a distant sun. He assumed a distant sun. You guys are so stupid, bro. Just whatever pops up on Google, right? Whatever Bill Nye said. None of your arguments are original. If you look at the flat earth, bro, like we come up with new arguments like every 6 months. Something new happens that proves that the earth's not curving. Like every 6 months, every year, sometimes even less time than that. You guys have had the same arguments since 500 BC. They haven't even updated. What is wrong with you? Do you not view that as a problem? Do you know what I mean? Like Laura Wan, that was last year, I think, at one point. So that's very recent. You know what I mean? And you guys are referencing Eratosthenes from, I believe, roughly 300 BC, if I'm not mistaken. So, whatever. But it's interesting how there's no new globe arguments. It's always boats. Um, Thanks for what, bro? I'm on a different account. You're still blocked, brother. You're just lucky. Just keep it peaceful, bro. I don't really have anything against you or anybody else. So, but I don't like accusations that aren't true. It's effectively the same as you accusing me of stealing your wallet when I in fact did not take your wallet, and you're like, "Well, prove you didn't take it." Like that's kind of how I feel when people try to get me to prove negative claims. It's like, and when it's somebody in the same like side as me, like it feels even more awkward. It's like, come on, brother, like let it go. And yeah, you do see me on other panels from time to time, just maybe not as often as Caleb and Angels, bro. I don't particularly live for this. This shit gets under my skin. So I don't get on a lot of other panels for a variety of reasons, bro. When you get it right the first time, you don't need to find any new things to prove the theory. Dude, there should be constant globe evidence happening 100% of every day. Every minute of every day, there should be something proving the globe. Every single day. It wouldn't even be a matter of you actively seeking out things to prove the globe. Things would just coincidentally prove the globe in everyday life. Right? If we build a new bridge, it would have to compensate for curvature of the earth. That would prove globe, right? We build any amount of infrastructure. When we fly aircraft all day long, we don't compensate for curvature. That would prove the globe if it did, though, right? If it actually did, that would prove the globe. It wouldn't be as if pilots were actively trying to seek out evidence that the earth was curving, but they would be proving it just by flying and compensating for curvature in the process. Do you not understand? It's not a matter of actively seeking out information. It's that we do things the way we do things just organically without the intention of proving shape of Earth, and we end up proving that the Earth is not a sphere 100% more often. Meaning 0% of the time do we actually prove that it's a ball. But nobody's actively trying to prove that it's flat or round. We're just doing things the only way that they actually work. And because that's the only way that they work is if we assume that the Earth is flat and stationary, we end up proving that the Earth is not a sphere in the process. Very remedial stuff here, bro. Would appreciate if you unblocked me. I'll do that. My other account's banned right now, so I'll get back to it at one point. But I'll try to remember when I end this one tonight. Just keep it peaceful, bro. That's all I'm saying. I meant what I said the other day too. I don't know if it was before or after I blocked you, so I don't know if you heard me, but you're the only flat earther that's ever given me shit for that. So I find it a little weird. You know what I mean? It's like nobody else in the community has a problem with me. They see me when they see me, Like nobody else has ever said anything like that to me. So that's why I like it feels a little personal, when one out of, I don't know, a few hundred, if not a few thousand people, out of all of those people that follow me and that I follow, one of them has a problem with me. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's not a me problem at that point. You know what I mean? I've been doing this shit the way that I've been doing it for over a year. So shared the live, appreciate it. Bring all your globe friends here. I don't think I've ever seen your face. TikTok's making me turn my camera on so you guys get to view my face. If the camera doesn't, the light doesn't pick up very well. But if you believe that, explain how believing someone exists in the sky relates to Earth's shape. Yeah, that's a really good point. Even if we have an ISS, even if we've been to the moon, even if we fly rockets into the vacuum of outer space, it doesn't make the Earth a sphere. TikTok made me show my face. TikTok um has a higher likelihood of putting you in the For You page if you show your face. And not necessarily on this account, but on my other account, I was on the For You page for a couple days in a row, and it asked me to turn my camera on. So I just played ball, you know? You obviously believe in God or something. If you don't believe in God, that's the stupid thing, bro. You just think we came from monkeys but fucking each other since the beginning of time? Who's the crazy one, really? You think energy just created itself? Fuck the first law of thermodynamics, this guy says. Screw it. We don't need it. We can just make energy from nothing and destroy it as needed. We can just destroy energy too, I suppose. There's no such thing as a transfer of energy. I don't know where you guys, this is the problem. You guys are always the first people to reference science, but when it comes to like, and I mean very elementary science here, like I don't know when we learned thermodynamics, like probably 6th or 7th grade for most people. Pretty basic stuff, you know, like, but no, we can't reference that. We have to reference the pseudoscience that's synonymous with Hollywood production, right? It's just Hollywood movies and TV shows. That's typically what I think you guys are referencing when you say science. You're like, science proves the globe. I think mainly what's actually in your head is like Star Wars and like Dragon Ball Z's and uh I don't know, space stuff, space movies, the Martian and like Interstellar and all these other space movies. That's what you're thinking of, because that's what's propagated it up until this point. Because we don't do enough stuff in the real world to give it that level of credibility. Hollywood does though, and not even just Hollywood, but that's one of the biggest proponents. Gyroscopes are cool, yeah. You calibrate them on the Earth.
All right, so hold up. Are you trying to say that that there is not proof that the Earth is round?
Do you have proof that the Earth is a sphere?
Yeah, I mean, I could send you a couple reference studies of people that have set up, for example, lasers over certain distances, and where if the Earth was flat, they would.
Can you give me the cliff notes, maybe?
Yeah. So
Assumed just like an estimated distance, height of the laser, how much it dropped by, how you compensate for refraction, an estimate of like the atmospheric conditions that day, the intensity of the laser itself. I mean, there's a
okay,
lot of
that's a little
variables.
bit more than cliff notes. That's pretty much the all of the data from the entire study. So I would have to send you a reference.
I would love to see if all of that data is even included, because typically
It absolutely is.
really,
But it's also something that's been
I almost
repeated.
doubt
It's
it.
been something that's been repeated many
Yeah,
times. It's
it's
a
called the
repeatable
Bedford
study.
Level Experiment.
You can do
Yeah,
it
it's called
yourself.
it's
Yeah.
called the Bedford Level Experiment. The first person to ever do it was Samuel Rowbotham in like the 1800s, and he got a flat result. So
Over such a short
maybe he
distance that
wasn't.
it
I don't
wasn't.
actually. I might be wrong. He might not have been the first person to do it, but he
Anyone that's
definitely
gotten
got
a
a
flat
flat
result,
result. So
it's
it
because they
just,
did it over too short. They did over too short of a distance.
I think he did it over like 3 to 5 miles or thereabout. That would be long enough. How much should the Earth curve in 1 mile? What's up, Caleb? I see you, bro. What's up, everybody? Hello. Are you Googling how much the Earth should curve in a mile, brother? I hope you're gonna come back with like some correct data. That would be super helpful. I just want to be proven that the Earth is curving, you know? Just looking for some
It's 8
concrete
inches per
data.
square mile.
8 inches per mile squared, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So at 3 miles, that would be more than enough. It would be noticeable. If you have a laser that's perfectly level, perpendicular to the baseline, wherever you put it, like the ground, then it would be noticeable if it
Saying as the first person to have
rose
done the experiment.
above. I'm sorry.
Who is the person that you referenced as the first person to have done the experiment?
Like I said, he might not have been the first, but the experiment itself is called the Bedford Level. But the person that I was referencing was Samuel Robotham. I don't know how to spell his last name. I think it's Rheo. Sound it out. I don't know. He wrote a book called Zetetic Astronomy. I have read it. It's actually very good. There's quite a good bit of information in there. He also talks about Foucault's pendulum for quite some time. He goes into detail about Foucault's pendulum as well, but that's a bit of a red herring if I invoke that. So I guess my point is, like, you get a variety of results depending on the atmospheric conditions of the day. Are you gonna Google every word that comes out of my mouth? Or are we gonna have a conversation on good faith?
How do you on any given day, anytime anybody says anything to you that you're not sure of, how do you check the data? You don't do regular Googling? Or do you just expect that your mind is
Well,
everything in your head, and you
typically,
don't read additional
just
data?
okay. Let's not do the whole like poison the well thing, brother. I'm just saying it would be good faith for you to be like, hey, give me a second, I'm gonna look that up. Or it would be good faith for you to be like, yo, I've never heard of that. You
Okay,
know what
all
I
right.
mean? Demonstrate some intellectual honesty, and I would trust you more. You know what I mean? Maybe if you didn't have 17 Google tabs open, you
We'll
wouldn't
be
be lagging right now. Just gonna let you go. Your phone's gonna overheat, brother. You got too many internet browsers open. You should close some tabs. Probably an iPhone user. Go figure. Is this guy still jabbering? Yeah. That's why you shouldn't have to Google everything that comes up in the sake of a discussion. You should just come like ready to provide, or if you don't know something, just say that. It's fine. No harm, no foul. What's up, Sarge?
Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
What's up, brother? Do you
Not
want to talk
much.
about the Earth, bro? What do you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I want to talk about the Earth, but I've been part of this discussion for a few months now. I'm typically, on the globe side, but I just want to talk to you about your phone, your day-to-day life, like when you got to go somewhere, like to the store or
I
anywhere.
do DoorDash, bro. Just get to the point.
Okay, you got it. Do you use what app for maps do you use? Do you use Apple Maps or Google Maps or Waze?
I use Google Maps, which usually connects me off of cell phone towers, and I can prove that because I did DoorDash in Arizona, and
Uh,
I used to lose reception very, 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 very often, and it would
okay.
actually affect my ability to complete an order and connect to the quote unquote network that you're referring to, which I'm
So,
assuming you think is like satellites. We're shooting frequencies to trash cans in a vacuum that are orbiting the Earth at velocities that are unimaginable and that we wouldn't
well,
be able to get a direct line of sight to if we wanted to anyway. Like, okay,
listen.
sure.
So yeah. Well, here's an
Uh-huh.
experiment you can do. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
So take your phone and go on your mapping app of choice, whether it's Google Maps, whatever. Turn your cell phone service off. It will still know where you are. How does that work? If you turn your
There's
cell
a
phone service off
variety
and
of,
turn everything
okay,
off, go
so
to airplane mode if you want. If you want.
yeah,
Sorry.
you don't have to repeat you don't have to repeat that. There's a variety of other logical explanations. What I claimed was that you believe that there are dumpsters flying above our heads at upwards of 17,000 miles an hour, if not faster, and significantly farther than any weather balloon. I think it could easily be like weather balloons. All you'd have to do is put a transmitter and a receiver on a weather balloon. If you look into like Google Loon or NASA's Ghost program, they've been able to suspend weather balloons for months at a
So,
time, very,
so
very
here's
high up
another
in the
thing you
air.
can
So we
do.
could, okay, you're not, can you steel man any of what I just said, brother?
Yeah, you said that satellite balloons rather than satellite. You think you said you think that I think it's trash cans flying through the air, going
Hmm.
60,000 miles per hour. But you said that there's many other logical explanations like a satellite balloon. I listened,
Okay,
and
okay.
then what I
Some
was going
people
to say
don't.
was something. I understand. I understand. What I was going to say is, have you ever heard of a hack RF radio? You can buy it on Amazon. It's like $600. You can get a antenna from another vendor if you want. Have you ever heard of that? I'm just wondering. Like,
Not
what it signifies.
particularly, but what would you do with it?
So you can set that up, and you can actually watch the satellites move across the sky. You know, if you watch the data coming off of this.
Yeah, no, that's actually not even. You can do that without that. You can still look up satellite data or alleged satellite data, but
So
that
you can
doesn't.
look it up, but
That
this is
doesn't.
actually
That
watching.
okay, but that doesn't verify distance. Like it gives you a distance, sure, it gives you an alleged
Verifies
distance,
distance
but
and
that
speed, like you were
hold on,
talking about.
buddy. Okay, it gives you an alleged distance and an alleged speed. It doesn't actually verify it. You're just looking at an animation of what's supposed to be happening on a computer screen.
No,
You're
I'm
not
connecting to
verifying
it.
it.
We're not connecting
I'm
to it.
not
We're
saying that
receiving
you're
from it.
not connecting to it, bro. I'm saying that like what you're connecting to might not be what you think it is, and you'd have burden of proof. And it's not for me to replace everything that you can't supply evidence of.
Well, I can't give you a picture of it, you're right, but I can tell you it's moving at a particular speed through the sky. And I can tell you that your phone without
Speed
cell
wouldn't
service.
necessarily be the biggest deterrent. We have things like ionic propulsion. Things can go very, very fast. It's even actually putting Newton's laws into question, but again, that's a bit of a red herring. But
Can we go back to the cell phone
so
real
you're
quick? Just if you turn off your cell
cell
service,
phones
do this
don't.
one day.
I get what you're saying, brother. I
Try it
know.
though.
You're
How
still.
does that work?
I already know. It's the same way a satellite phone would work. I get it. It's just like when you're in the middle of the ocean and you have like a satellite phone, but you don't. That doesn't prove what you're connecting to. It just proves that you're
Okay.
able to connect to something.
Fair enough. But
Yeah.
you know, observing it, they're moving at a particular rate across the sky. You can observe many different constellations from many different
You
countries.
you can watch an animation of what they tell you is happening, sure. And if you want to blindly subscribe to that, that's fine. But that doesn't serve as satisfaction for
I'm not
burden of
talking
proof.
about an animation. I'm talking about setting up a radio and watching a signal fly across the sky. It's not a animation.
You would never be able to watch electromagnetic frequencies like that just fly, bro. They're not on your visible light spectrum.
I
You
didn't.
can't
They're not
you can't
flying, and I'm
watch
not
that.
watching them. That's why I asked you about the Hack RF radio. So you take the radio, and you take a radar
Let's
antenna that's constantly scanning.
let's try something different. How about do you have evidence that the surface of the Earth is curving convexly at a semi-consistent
Why
rate?
do you not want to talk about? You asked me what I wanted to talk about. We're talking about this, and you
Well,
don't want
you
to
want to
talk
talk
about
about something that wouldn't prove the shape of the Earth. Now, would it? How would it prove the shape of the Earth? Can you
Okay,
get that
so
part out?
here's how it proves the shape of the Earth, or at least maybe gives you more evidence towards that side of the shape. You ready? The people who designed your phone, the people who designed the map app, they worked off of assumptions that the Earth was curved to make that mapping app accurate without
Even
cell
if
phone
that's
service.
okay, let's talk
They
about
did it with
real.
those
Let's talk
assumptions in
about
mind, and it works.
let's okay. Let's talk about orbital mechanics. Are you familiar with like real inertial reference frames?
Yes. So
What's a real inertial reference frame?
my understanding is where you're measuring from, you have to take that into account to actually have a accurate measurement. I'm not explaining it well, but you know, taking a
It's a
measurement from a moving train
non-accelerating.
is different.
It's a non-ex. Okay, you're just wrong. It's a non-accelerating, non-rotating coordinate system where Newton's laws of motion still apply.
Okay.
Meaning we would have to assume that the Earth was in a state of rest, or at the very least that the Earth's coordinate system that it's giving you directions based off of is at a state of rest.
Or
It's the only way they can even.
Or we're in perfect motion with it, in sync motion. If
No,
you're right.
you don't understand. What is inertia?
Inertia is the resistance to moving an object. So if it's still and you try to move,
Inertia in
resistance to
this
move the object.
context would be assumed to be a state of rest.
Well, what I know it to be is the resistance to move a physical object. Something that's heavy, if you push it, it's going to take a second. It's going to have resistance to move. That's how I understand it. We can look it up if you want, but that's how I understand.
No, that would be like the normal force.
I don't know. I think that's inertia.
Oh, inherent resistance of any physical object sustained. Okay, sure. But you use a real inertial reference frame
Yeah.
with
what-
orbital mechanics, but you assume that the coordinate system of the Earth is in a state of rest.
Well,
You
in
assume that
reference
it's
to us. In reference to us, it's in a state of rest.
It wouldn't be in reference to you because you're launching a satellite 250 to like 25,000 miles
our
away from
inertial
the Earth.
frame of
So,
reference is in our
dude,
perspective.
do you have to? Are you okay? Do you have to interrupt me every time?
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm trying to just have a conversation with you, brother. I'll try not to.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
So like, it would once it leaves our frame of reference, like once it leaves us, you can't use that argument anymore. Like once it leaves the surface of the Earth, you can't use that argument anymore. But you assume a real inertial reference frame. You assume that the coordinate system of the Earth is non-accelerating and non-rotating, the same coordinate system that it is giving you directions based off of. So you assume a stationary Earth before you even launch a satellite. And we do the same thing when we launch rockets. This does not prove shape. I'll admit it does not prove shape, but it really only works if the Earth is geocentric and in a state of rest.
I don't think that I disagree. It doesn't work just if it's geocentric. It works, period. We both agree it works. Let's just start there. It works. But whatever shape it is, it's working.
I mean,
The
I
people
don't
who made the phone, like look at Google Earth. Look at you said you use Google
look
Maps.
at Google Earth, dude. Google Earth is
it's a globe.
like, oh yeah, okay. I'm not even gonna get into that with you, bro. Once you zoom out far enough, it objectively turns into a cartoon. Like
Sure,
that's not
of course, it's a
debatable.
render, but there's real data. There's images of the Earth and not and
We
get
have
back to my original
we have
point.
Google. Okay, we have Google
Let's turn on.
Planes. We have Google Planes. We have weather balloons. We have drones. We have a lot of things that can take pictures, brother.
Yes,
You're not
but it's
proving. You're not.
organized in the
You're
globe.
not. Do you have evidence that like the surface of the Earth is curving, dude? I hate talking about non sequiturs. I can't stand it. You guys. This is why I like. I'm not even trying to be rude to you, bro. But this is why I typically
Okay.
don't let you guys steer the conversation because you guys don't actually talk about anything definitive in regards to geometric values of the actual Earth.
Well,
You
we
guys
can
talk
talk
about
about
like.
that. We can talk about that. I'm sorry. You
Okay,
asked me what I wanted to talk about. But my point
fair.
was that if you turn your phone off cellular wise, it
I
still
don't disagree
knows
with that.
where it is. And that works somehow. The people who made that device assumed a
I
globe.
don't.
They organized the information in a globe. That's my point. Is that you're
We
using
assume a
technology.
coordinate
You
system
use
that
technology
could
day to
just
day
as
made by globers.
yeah, no, we use a coordinate system that is based off of an azimuthal projection. It works just as well off of an azimuthal projection. The same coordinate system would work on an azimuthal grid, meaning a flat circle. It would still work because we measure everything based off like our latitudes come from the sky, right? Like you take an angular measurement of Polaris, you get your degree, that would tell you what latitude you're at, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And that would work on a flat surface as well because of course you assume a 90-degree baseline in order to calculate the degree anyway. So that's not really proving shape. You're like, yo, we have a coordinate system, but like, and they just map it out on a sphere, but it would work equally as well, I would say even better, on an azimuthal grid. So that doesn't prove anything.
I see
So
your point. I see your point.
your a lot of you guys' arguments typically are like begging the question fallacies where you're sort of like pre-assuming that the Earth is a sphere before you even incorporate whatever it is that you're about to provide as evidence. So that's why sphericity of the Earth has to be proven first.
Well, I would
Right?
just
Like,
say, I don't assume the shape of the Earth, but the people who made the phone, the people who made GPS, the people who made the chips in the phone that connect and see those satellites, assumed it was a globe, and it worked that way.
I just
It works.
retorted that. I just retorted that. We assume a coordinate system that would work just as well on an azimuthal grid. You could assume an azimuthal grid, just then reverse engineer the math and assume non-Euclidean and get the exact same results. So it wouldn't really prove anything. Like, that's what I'm saying. You have to physically prove that the Earth is curving, or do you want to try to prove that it's in motion? One or the other?
Okay, we can talk about the curve now. I see your point. You made a very good point. I think that we both agree the system works somehow. I would say it's satellites.
Yeah,
You
we
would say
disagree.
it's balloons. Whatever. Yeah.
No, I
So
wouldn't necessarily. I don't know what's up there, brother. I don't make too many positive claims. I know that there's a lot of, like I said, there's Google Loon and there's NASA's Ghost program. They've
yeah.
been able to suspend weather balloons for several months before they come back down. So effectively, why else would we need to do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it's just it's again, it's a complete non sequitur though because it doesn't really prove shape of Earth.
Sure, we could dive deeper into the technology of how GPS works that shows that they've been up there since the 70s, but we can move on because I know you want to talk about
You
curving the.
think we traveled to a vacuum in the 70s, brother?
No, the military has had access to GPS since the late 70s, early 80s. It became civilian use in the 90s, early 2000s.
You think we traveled to a vacuum in the 70s, brother?
I think we launched satellites that have been up there since then, providing us GPS that you use every day to get around.
When
You
did
said you
we
use
when did we go to the
DoorDash.
moon? When did we go to the moon? The first time.
I don't know the year. I'm sorry, I just don't know the year. But I was
1969. So that's essentially what I meant is like you think we mastered traveling into a vacuum on the very first try?
I think
Like
we shipped out
the
satellites for sure.
that's not what I'm asking you. I'm talking about human beings, brother. You think we just figured out how to put a suit on and survive the intensity of a vacuum? A very, very, very low pressure system. You think we just got that right on the first try and hit our target while we were orbiting around it at velocities that are unfathomable, and it's 238,000 miles away to begin with?
I
This is
think we did
all
go to the
like
moon. I think we did go to the moon. I think we had some incredible scientists then.
I think the conversation's over then. You got to figure out that that's not possible before you get into flat Earth,
Let's
brother.
keep talking, dude. I like talking to you. You don't.
No, I know. It was a good conversation, bro. You're actually one of the more intellectually honest people that I've met, and I'm not being disrespectful, but like, dude, you can't be, however old you are, still thinking that we went to a rock in the sky, brother. Like that doesn't. Oh, I actually dropped you, assuming that I had a guest to replace you. Maybe I shouldn't have been so hasty, but at the same time, bro, I don't think that was gonna bear fruit. That was gravitational force. We lost the technology, yeah. The moon isn't a planet. Well, no, even in their paradigm, it's not a planet. I don't want to talk to moon landing believers, bro. I don't. You gotta drop that whole silly facade. Rewatch the footage, bro. Like, it's so simple. Does it come up if I type it in? We're gonna watch the moon landing footage if I can if I can find it. Uh is this good? I gotta watch a YouTube ad. You did the maths, gravity is fake, that's great. I don't believe moon landings. Oh my god, this is so cheesy. Hold on. Here, look at this. Like this could be anything. Look at this. Oh my god. Look, where did that? Wait, hold on. How did we go from this? Wait, we go from this to just like it's in space now. Look at this. What is this dude doing? He's making a sandwich? No, stop. He's not making a sandwich, bro. You're kidding. Brother. This guy's making a sandwich. Okay, hold on. One of the greatest technological advancements of our entire species, and this guy's making a fucking sandwich with his helmet off. Like, he shouldn't even be aware that he can do that. They would be in their seats suffering massive G forces and throwing up all over themselves. This dude's making a sandwich, brother. You can't be serious. You believe this, bro? You believe this? First moon mission. I don't know if this is the first one. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, Apollo 11. Okay. Well, yeah, no, 1969. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah, this would be the first one. Kitty, if you make me cuss at you again and get my live shut down, we're both gonna have massive problems. Oh, look, whoa. Where's the camera guy? Where did he come from? Wait a minute. Why is there so many cuts? What is this shit? I love the sandwich part. Like, look at this floating can of, like, tuna. Oh my god. The prone had a camera? Oh. Oh. Wow. One small step for a liar. One massive footprint that matches the other boot. Brilliant. Love it. Fantastic. This is evidence, by the way. This might have been able to, this is my problem with you, brother. This might have been able to fool people in the late 1960s and early 1970s when television wasn't brand new or was brand new and things were still like in black and white and cars had, you know, hand roll windows and like refrigerators were basically new too. And like you might have been able to fool people back then, bro. But if you were an adult male or an adult anything, it doesn't matter, male or female. If you were an adult in today's world, dude, I could go to, I would never do this, but I could go to a school and show this to like fifth graders and they would be like, why does it look so fake? Like, what is this, bro? What is this? This looks like Pirates of the Caribbean. What is this shit, bro? This is crazy. This is what you guys believe. Now we're watching an advertisement again. Do you guys want to see more? There's a 50-hour or 50-minute one. Investigating the truth behind the moon landing. Ooh. And you believe shit like this too. This is good enough for most of you, right? Like this is as much globe evidence as you're in need of. Where's the part where it shows the flat horizon? Maybe I already skipped it. Yeah, it would have showed itself already. I'm probably not going to be able to find it, but there's a part where, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a part where they're inside with the camera and the horizon outside of the window is completely flat because they didn't edit it. And Neil deGrasse Tyson admitted that this was a fisheye lens. Egg drop from space? Bro, no. You know what's fucked up? Now my YouTube's going to be bombarded with fucking fake space for the next 6 months until I change my algorithm. Brilliant. The real scale of the universe. Whoa. Halley's Comet, 11 kilometers. We just took a random guess. And this one looked a little bit bigger, so it's 12 kilometers. And this one was like almost basically the same size, but it's like a little bit wider, so we called it 15 kilometers. And then Crab Pulsar, whatever that is. Like, look at these cartoons, bro. Look at these cartoons. Look at this shit. What is that? What is that? What is that, bro? What is that? Doesn't even have a name. Just a series of numbers and letters. Just like a barcode. Just like a barcode, bro. Prometheus. At least that. Whoa. Damn. 168 miles. Saturn's moon. That's a moon, by the way. Crazy. Miranda. I have a cousin named Miranda. Alright, this is boring. I can't do this. This shit's fake as fuck. What else do we got? Dinosaurs. More cartoons. Tons of cartoons, guys. You want to see cartoon dinosaurs now, too? Look. Oviraptor, Velociraptor. Whatever that says. None of them are even big yet. Oh, there we go. Bullshit. Bullshit, that thing's not as small as a fucking human. I don't believe you. Wow, Sarge cooked so hard he got host on some other shit. I gotta show people some things sometimes, bro. Like, you believe we landed on a rock in a vacuum with 60s technology while they were making a sandwich on the way. Like, just casual as fuck. As if you wouldn't be either A, passed out, or B, barfing your fucking guts out from all the G-forces. Do you know how fast they would have to travel to get that far in the time that they'd made it? I forget the velocity, bro. I should Google that too while I'm here, but it's not really worth it. Any amount of critical thought and you should be able to realize, like, no, they wouldn't be conscious upon arrival. It's just insanity, bro. But no, this dude's just sitting straight up with his helmet off making a fucking sandwich. Oh, dude, it's so sad. Journey to the edge of the observable universe. Keep using Glober Tech for DoorDash. It's not Glober Tech, bro. It's just tech. And even if it is technology by people who believe the Earth is a sphere, that doesn't really mean. Like, look at this cartoon. That's a cartoon, bro. This is what you're saying. Is like, yeah, the people who made this, they made what you're using to show me this on your cell phone too. Like, and it's like, okay, great technological advancement. We've literally never been this far out, by the way. We've never been 100,000 kilometers away from Earth. Well, I guess if you believe we went to the moon, but that's a reach. Now we're officially past the point of no return. We've never been this fucking far out. So at this point, they're just fucking guessing. This dude in my comments is like, yes, we have, just to say it, just because he has to. He just has to say that to maintain the validity of his religion. 30 million rather miles, and we're still nowhere. We still have nothing. That's a cartoon. That's definitely a cartoon. Like, you guys believe this shit? Oh, look, cartoons. Whoa, is that real too? It's so sad. Whoa, 1 trillion kilometers. Fucking, oh man. 1 light year. Wow. Shitty artwork? Dude, yeah, this is awful. I'm skipping 2 light years. We doubled our distance, guys. Whoa, now we're seeing some real CGI. I bet this is even admitted to be rendering. This journey presents a scientific and comprehensive illustration of the entire known universe. It begins at the surface of Earth and extends to the edge of the observable universe, passing through the solar system, nearby stars, our galaxy, nearby galaxies, and galactic clusters. And then it's just sources for everything. Keyword illustration. This isn't real footage, guys. I know you really want it to be. We never made it 10,000 light years. We didn't do it. 20,000, 30,000. Dude, we've never seen this. We've never seen this. And if we have seen this, it's from a telescope while we were on Earth, looking outwards at it. So we wouldn't know what it looked like from the opposite perspective. Look, called it Milky Way Galaxy. I was going to say it, but I didn't. I didn't want to be wrong. They believe this shit too. The Voyager, yeah. You think this came from the Voyager, even though I just proved to you that it's an illustration of what we might see if we were to travel out this far? Are you stupid, brother? 100,000 subs, by the way. 100,000 subscribers. Whoa, we don't want to move that link anywhere. Save that for the plebeians. Shit's crazy, bro. What else do we got? How big is the universe? This shit's crazy. Why does stuff you know fall down? What does that mean, brother? That's probably the dumbest way I've been asked about gravity. That's like the least, like, why don't you just ask me what gravity is? Why do you have to, like, do you not speak English, bro? Like, that's actually not intended to be disrespectful. Like, there's a significant chance that you don't actually speak English, and I'm just trying to give you benefit of the doubt. Like, you've got to be speaking, like, botany. What? Dude, stop talking. Nobody wants to read you whatever you have to say, bro. You haven't made a single comment that made sense. Prime example of homeschooling. For questioning this, it proves that I was homeschooled. For questioning the reality of this illustration. For questioning something that is admitted to be an illustration, I must have been homeschooled. We're cooked, guys. We're cooked. I'm serious. We're actually cooked. It's over. Like, we're done. We're done. There's no getting through to these people, bro. You show them cartoons and they're just like, yeah, what's wrong with it? And it's like, okay. Yep. Outlook on the so-called illustration proves the flat Earth is fake too. How? A cartoon proves the flat Earth wrong? That's your claim? Something that is admitted to be an artist rendition of our solar system or our universe proves that the Earth is a sphere somehow? Cartoons prove cartoons? Is that your logic? I struggle to understand what it is the fuck you guys are trying to say sometimes, bro. I don't even think you know. It's like the other day somebody came in my comments and was like, he said something about like I have the intelligence of an alien. And I was like, well, in your paradigm, aliens would be smarter than all of us combined. So thanks for the accidental compliment, I guess. You guys don't even know how to insult someone properly. You actually don't think forwards. Like you don't have a linear trajectory in a forward direction when it comes to thought. All of your thoughts are reversed, backwards, inverted, and upside down, and opposite to how they should be. So arguing with you guys is like you insult yourselves so often that I don't even have to. It's so fucking pathetic. They've had too much fluoride, dude. It's awful. I don't know how you wake up every day and think the wrong direction, bro. I don't get it. This is prove everything. Dude, I showed you what is admitted to be an illustration, and you're saying that it disproves that the Earth is flat somehow. That's you're not allowed to talk anymore, bro. You're having a. This is another thing too. Like, how do I know you guys are human beings, bro? What if you're just a robot sent here to piss me off, and I let it get to me? You know what I mean? Like, what if I actually let it get to me? You guys want to watch the Pokemon movie with me? I was watching the Pokemon movie before this, or the Detective Pikachu. I wasn't gonna go live tonight, but I ended up on Focal Points Live, and he was just hitting me with like meaningless trivia, like asking me how much the Earth should curve at 100 miles directly after I asked him how much the Earth should curve at 10 miles. And he just upped the ante, did not answer it, just upped the ante and said, well, how much should it curve at 100 miles? And I was like, is this really what we're doing? Like, it's why I don't talk to people like that, bro. You can't actually get into anything definitive, nothing of value. It's just meaningless trivia. Like he's like, well, how much would the Earth curve at half a mile? And I was like, 2 inches, bro. I know you love to hit people with your little trick questions and your gotcha tactics, but some of us can actually fucking do math. So now what? All of his questions were math related too. Like not a single one of them was actually in relation to the geometry of the Earth in a way that would definitively prove it. It was all just like gotcha tactics, and he was getting cooked too. So it was really sad. But it's like, I don't know. It's you wonder why I block people like that. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you have no idea what you're doing. You should watch Attack on Titan. Ugh. How many seasons is it? You're like the 1 millionth participant in this, like, try to get Solly to watch Attack on Titan endeavor. And I feel like giving you a consolation prize of at least inquiring about it. Because I don't know. I went to public schools. Wow, good for you, bro. It shows. Sounds like a public indoctrination to me. Earth's curving, orbiting the sun. Watch it. There are fire-breathing lizards in real life. There is one species, I think, that it has some kind of like fluid in its stomach that's like not really, I don't know how exactly that works, but I did watch a video on something like that at one point. So that's, whether you're joking or not, that's actually, there's some truth to that. Shadow northernmost spire longer than my equatorial spire shadow. What's the relevance? Would it not be proportionate to the sun's position? Why don't you guys ask questions that would definitively prove the shape of the Earth? Why do you guys always ask for like replacement explanations of your dogma? Why is it all just like dogmatic regurgitation with you guys? Just regurgitate some fucking filth, some like manufactured minutia that you were forced to swallow at a young age, and be like, yeah, replace that, or else you're stupid. And it like I don't even want to touch it, bro. It's disgusting. It's vile. Like you smell like shit, bro. Your brain's malfunctioning, my guy. Our dogma? Yeah, your dogma, brother. Do you guys want to know the definition for the word dogma? I don't want to mess it up. I'll give you the concrete definition for the word dogma. It came up Dogman. Google auto-corrected it to Dogman. Like, what the why would I want that? Why would I want that? Why would I want Dogman? Principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as inconvertibly true. There's other definitions as well. In simple terms, the doctrine of belief in a religion or a political system. The literal meaning of dogma in ancient Greek was something that seems true, in quotes. These days, in English, dogma is more absolute. If you believe in a certain religion or philosophy, you believe in its dogma or core assumptions. So in this example, when I refer to what you guys throw up in my comments as dogma, it's because you subscribe to a religion or a philosophy and you believe it fully, and nothing can threaten that. Nothing can even get close to threatening it, or you get emotional. It's dogma. By definition. I love how somebody copied and pasted the definition of it after I said it, thinking like that would matter. Good job, bro. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? How are you?
What's up, brother?
Chilling, man. Did you think I was being like dogmatic about something?
Heliocentrism and people who subscribe to it typically are dogmatic, yes.
Do you not see like the irony in that statement with like Galileo Galilei being executed for revealing heliocentrism?
No, not when I get my live shut down for trying to reveal the exact opposite. So I could appeal to all of the dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even potentially thousands of flat earthers who I personally witnessed their accounts take massive hits, and like even some people lose their accounts. Of course, that's not equal to
Why
death
does that
in and of
dismiss the
itself.
irony?
I was getting to that. Of course, that does not synonymize with death itself, but essentially your argument is that people judged Galileo for his beliefs, therefore they must be true, I guess, when in reality people judge everybody for all of their beliefs, and that in and of itself does not dictate truth from fiction.
I'm actually not
So
suggesting truth. I'm suggesting like maybe there should be some poetic introspection as a consequence of the irony. Like maybe
what
this isn't the
regard?
hill to be to suggest that there's dogma about.
Well, when I bring up something that disproves heliocentrism, people people respond as if it's a subscription for them, like it's something that cannot be questioned, much like you're doing right now. So yeah, I'm
No,
going to
hold
refer to
on.
it as
I'm
dogma.
literally questioning everything with you. I'm not trying to like paint you into a corner, bud. I'm just saying like
It's dogma, dude.
are people
I
actually
just broke
subscribing, or is
down.
it funny?
Well, I just broke it down by definition. Maybe you didn't catch this part, but
I'm not
it
struggling with the
says,
definition of dogma.
well, I'm going to do it anyway. These days, in English, dogma is more absolute. If you believe in a certain religion or philosophy, okay, this would
I'm
classify as a
not disagreeing with
philosophy.
you, bro.
You believe in its dogma. So you believe in the philosophy of heliocentrism. So
I
you
do not
subscribe
believe
to its dogma.
heliocentrism is a philosophy. I believe it
It
is
is.
a
It's a
description of
philosophical
the
endeavor.
universe.
No, it's a philosophical endeavor. It's entirely postulation from start to finish. It cannot be categorized as anything else. It's certainly not science.
What would be required for it to be like
Science?
measurable for
It
you?
would have to, yeah, it would have to subscribe to the scientific method. It would have to, there would have to be some form of independent variable or some actual physical
So,
experiments that definitively prove the
would
shape
you
of
like
the
me to
Earth. It's
explain
all
the original experiment that they derived the curvature of the Earth with?
Eratosthenes sticking sticks in
Yes.
the ground. That's
It
not
wasn't
an
sticks, they were
experiment.
just like
That's
pillars. They were spires. Like it's you build a giant pillar
there's
in Alexandria and you notice
I
that
know
by
he measured the
noon,
discrepancy of the shadows from Egypt to Greece. I
sorry,
know,
whatever the
but
cities are.
he
Yeah.
pre-assumed the Earth was a sphere. He used non-Euclidean geometry, which
A
pre-assumes
sphere
three
is Euclidean
dimensions.
geometry.
Did I get that wrong? It's been a while.
Yes.
Give me a sec. Let me look that up.
Non-Euclidean geometry is geometry that does not fit to a three-dimensional shape.
Encompasses geometry that different from Euclidean is flat. Space by yeah, you're wrong. I knew I wasn't wrong about that. Non-Euclidean geometry encompasses geometries that differ from Euclidean, and then behind you the word Euclidean, it has it in parentheses. It says flat. So if Euclidean is 2 dimensions, non-Euclidean would be upwards or more than 2. So yeah, no, he pre-assumed non-Euclidean geometry. I've been doing this for a year. It surprised me that I yeah, guessed is completely wrong. I was thinking, bro. Now he's googling it. He needs to fact check himself. I'm glad that like I'm intellectually honest at times. Sometimes I give people a little too much credit. When I've been doing this for a long time and I always say non-Euclidean. It's like if I've been wrong all this time, I doubt it, but whatever.
That is the concept of
Anyway,
intellectual honesty, is checking yourself when you stumble on a semantic, bro. Like it's
well, okay, well, I wouldn't be the one that did that. It would be you. You'd have to demonstrate intellectual honesty because you were incorrect, but okay.
Euclidean geometry is whether or not you can draw a straight line from one point to another. And
Yeah,
it doesn't
so it
really
would
seem
be
relevant.
it would be okay, so
The
if you're
Euclidean
going
geometry wasn't
to
invented till like the
are you
18th
gonna
century.
are you gonna overheat, bro? Are you good, bro? I just want to have a conversation about this now. If you pre-assume non-Euclidean geometry, you're gonna get 3 dimensions, therefore assuming sphericity in the process. You can use non-Euclidean geometry on a table in your living room, and
Oh,
you're
you're
gonna
just
turn it into a
gish
sphere.
galloping, bro. You don't
Steel
know
man
how.
my argument. Steel man my argument,
You
please.
can't steel man a moron.
You're not smart enough to steel man me? I didn't think so, bro. I love how he's like, oh yeah, intellectual honesty is, you should demonstrate intellectual honesty and check yourself if you make a semantical error. Shifting that over to me as if he wasn't the one who made the error. Like, what, brother? Wow. Make him define it? Yeah, that would have been fun. There was like an 80% part of me that knew I was correct, but that's the thing, bro. I have nothing to hide. Even if I was wrong, it still doesn't make the Earth a sphere. It would have simply been a grammatical mistake. What's up, Patriot?
Hello, hello.
What's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on?
Do you have evidence that the Earth is curving?
No, but you know what I wish we can do? Find the, how you call it again? The edge of the flat Earth, so we can just toss the trash there instead of polluting the planet. Or
That's stupid. We should try to prove the shape of the Earth before we teach an incorrect model to the future generations that will inhabit it. Do you agree with that?
huh?
Okay, that's good. We're done. That's oh, there's a language barrier here, I guess. It's fine. You keep looking, bro. You'll find it. You'll find something. Just keep digging, brother. You'll be all right. I think we're done here, guys. I think that was my last guest. The Euclidean geometry guy was probably the highlight of the live tonight. Between that and going over the moon landing footage, that was great. That was awesome. And I love that the guy that I wanted to show that to, he probably left like 3 seconds into it because it was too close to the truth for him. You know what I mean? Can you talk? I don't bring flat earthers up here, homie, but it's nice to meet you. I only do opposition. It just keeps it more fluid. It keeps the conversations more meaty, you know? Like I want to give sustenance to myself, and I want to provide sustenance in the form of information. So when I bring other flat earthers up here, a lot of times it's just stuff that we already know about, or we're just kind of patting each other on the back. And that's really awesome. Like, I'm not saying that it's not, but this is not necessarily the place for it. But I'm sure I'll see you around. I do get around from time to time. All good? Yeah. No hard feelings, brother. It's just I don't like to turn it into like a personal thing, because it's not. It's not a personal thing. Um it's not like I'm like that. I'm not really like it's not like a vendetta or anything, but anyway, just wanted to ask you about perspective. What's your question? Did you guys know? Let me see if I hold on. This is really interesting. Um this I found on Twitter earlier today, I want to say. Ask in chat. Yeah, you can ask in chat. So Globers always go on and on about here. Well, I guess I can just do it with my hand, hopefully. No, it's not gonna pick up my hold on. I always forget how to dude, I need to get quicker at the camera shit. So Globers always go on and on about bottom up obstruction, right? They freaking live for this shit. They think it's like the only argument that they need, right? And this isn't going to show it very well, but this is top down obstruction, which happens in a hallway, okay? So if you put the camera at the ceiling, as it moves away from you, things will disappear inversely to the way that they would disappear if the camera were closer to the surface. It's the exact same phenomena. It's the exact same phenomena. But this proves that it's just an angular, it's just a convergence argument, right? It's just the convergence of the being too small for and too minute for your eyes. Your eyes don't pick up the information. So I know my face is covering like all of it. But here's your bottom up, right? And I know this, I wish I could like zoom in, but it's an interesting, it's this, if you guys know how we lose information from convergence from the bottom, it's the exact same thing, except it's the ceiling, which I think is like, I need to work on how I'm gonna like articulate that, because it's something that I never really thought of before. But it's a really, really, really interesting counter argument to them telling us like, oh, boats disappear bottom up, and it's like, yeah, duh, it's just convergence. But I think it's very, very fascinating. So, and there's some other interesting things that I found as well. Let's see, what does this say? Edwin Hubble, uniform explosion would imply that we occupy a unique position in the universe. Copernican principle. Analogous in a sense to the ancient conception of a central Earth. I cannot read today. The hypothesis cannot be disproved, but it is unwelcome. Like when Hubble first made observations, he made a lot that he looked at galaxies that appeared to move or turn once a year. Everything appeared to be moving around us. The Earth entirely appeared to be at the center. And he essentially said that this idea was unthinkable. And that it should be disregarded and avoided at all costs. And I could not find that quote. But he said the hypothesis cannot be disproved. Geocentrism cannot be disproved. But it is unwelcome, and we would only accept it as a last resort in order to save the phenomena. Therefore, we disregard the possibility and consider the alternative, namely a distribution in which density thins out over distance, meaning more redshift. Very, very fascinating stuff. Like when you get into well, I'm not gonna get like seeing a cloud 10,000 feet reaching the horizon, sky moved. I don't think I can envision what you're saying. Reaching the horizon lines. I'm not sure. I did have 2 guests, but they fucking ran away. I think I have more just to keep the. It has been. I've only read these once, so I don't. And I just screenshotted them all like quickly, I was actually laying in bed this morning with my contacts out, scrolling through Twitter, just like reading this stuff. Once more, for the record, it has been shown at least 6 different ways that in this century alone, that the equations in physics used by NASA to launch satellites are identical to the equations derived from a geocentric universe. It's exactly what I was telling that other guy when we were talking about satellites. We use a coordinate system that is assumed to be non-accelerating and non-rotating. So we assume a geocentric Earth in a state of rest when we do when we do orbital mechanics. It's not complicated. Thus, if the space program is proof of anything, it proves geocentricity and disproves heliocentrism. Thank you. I'm not going to butcher his name, but the evidence for heliocentrism is even weaker than the evidence for evolution, which is why a lot of these people also believe in evolution, because they're just gullible. I have a few more. The effort to explain the Michelson-Morley experiment, the thought was advanced that the Earth might be stationary. Such an idea was not considered seriously, since it would mean in effect that our Earth occupied the omnipotent position in the universe, the Copernican principle that the Earth cannot occupy a unique or special position, with all other heavenly bodies paying homage by revolving around it. That's what geocentrism would essentially be. Dayton Miller, a very striking consistency of their principal characteristic for azimuth and magnitude, as though they were related to a common cause. The observed effect is dependent upon sidereal time and is independent of diurnal and seasonal changes of temperature and other terrestrial causes. Michelson-Morley, they tried to argue against it. A lot of people tried to argue against it by saying that he didn't compensate for, or they didn't compensate for temperature changes. They very much did. They went to the top of a very high mountain. They had indoor and outdoor laboratories for this. They went to Dayton Miller recreated that experiment 200,000 times. 200,000 times to compensate for every known variable multiple times over to get very definitive results that there is indeed a fringe shift and that the Earth is in a state of rest. It is the ether that is moving. That's what it all boils down to. Dayton stated once that he plotted Michelson-Morley experiments with sidereal time measurements. Yeah, it does moves separate from the motion of the stars as well, which is sidereal. Like, bro, these old ass quotes, bro, these are people. This is somebody that you would suck the dick of if I didn't bring him up on the screen prior to you or after you saying that. So watch your mouth, buddy. Should the positive result, Miller's friendship, Dayton Miller's, be confirmed, then the special theory of relativity and with the general theory of relativity in its current form would be invalid. Should I repeat that? I mean, it's right there, brother. That's what I'm saying. Like, these are people that you reference all the time. You have these people's balls in your throat, and I bring something up that they say that makes you look stupid, and now you don't want nothing to do with it, right? Now they're just a bunch of old dead dudes, right? Now they're just a bunch of old dead people. Should it be confirmed? It was confirmed. I just read it to you, brother. I just explained all of that to you. But when I was a student, I saw that experiments of this kind had already been made, particularly by your compatriot Michelson-Morley, MMX. Let you up? No. He proved that one does not notice anything on Earth that it moves, but everything takes place on Earth as if the Earth is in a state of rest. Is it so hard for you to entertain the possibility that we might not be orbiting a star? Is that too much? Is that too ridiculous? That the sun might have its own movement, not like directly proportionate to us? I don't know how to word that correctly, but it wouldn't be dependent on Earth to move in the way that you're familiar with. Like, is that too far-fetched? I don't know. This is a long one. Where'd the rest of them go? What happened? I had more. Give me a sec. Here, another Einstein quote. I believe I have really found the relationship between gravitation and electricity. Assuming the Miller experiments are based off of a fundamental ether effect, Otherwise, the whole relativity theory collapses like a house of cards. You might see this one on Caleb's live from time to time. I have one more. The trouble with Professor Einstein is that he knows nothing about my results. This is objectively true. Like I said, Dayton Miller did over 200,000 experiments, recreated the Michelson-Morley experiment over 200,000 times. Einstein swept it under the rug every single time. Completely disregarded it, acted like it bared no purpose. Dr. Miller said, he has been saying for 30 years that the interferometer experiments in Cleveland showed negative results. We never said they gave negative results, and they did not in fact give negative results. He ought to give me credit for knowing that temperature differences would affect the results. He wrote to me in November suggesting this. Like I said, they made suggestions to Miller as if he didn't compensate for temperature variables, which, I mean, give the guy more credit, I guess, is basically what he's saying. I'm not so simple as to not make allowances for temperatures. Who was begging to come up here? A bunch of other idiots that are going to try to tell me that the Earth is in motion.
What's up?
What up, bro?
What's the highest level of mathematics you have achieved?
Don't appeal to my credentials. Do you have evidence that the Earth is curving, or do you want to have a nice night?
Yeah. What's the highest level of mathematics you've achieved? Because you have not obviously taken college algebra or pre-calc.
Do you have evidence that the Earth is in motion? Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about the subject matter, or do you want to talk about geometry?
You would not be able to understand if you don't have mathematics. Bye, jackass.
We could have talked about geometry, bro, but you.
Yeah, you have zero knowledge for geometry. What's SOHCAHTOA? What's SOHCAHTOA? What's SOHCAHTOA?
What do you do with these people, bro? How do you begin a conversation like that? Like, is that going to be on your resume? Your highest level of mathematics? How are you that triggered? How are you that triggered? Just instantly appeal to someone's credentials that, like, mathematics is only relevant to the actual shape of the Earth, which is the entirety of the conversation, but your level of mathematics does not need to be exceptionally high. It's a very simple curvature rate, and it's a very simple formula to understand. This is very simple stuff. Either Earth curving or it's not. It's not a difficult conversation. We don't need to have like a dick measuring contest of who can pee the farthest. It's ridiculous, bro. I hate these people. This is my only other guest. Battle him? No, he dropped himself. Oh no, actually, no, I did drop him. I'm sorry. But actually, I hate when people do that. When it's just like, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of trivial questions that mean absolutely nothing in the sake of this discussion, and if you can't answer them correctly, you're intellectually inferior to me and I win the debate. When all of it is meaningless and it's just a bunch of red herring and shifting the burden of proof fallacies on top of like the immediate appeal to credentials and an inherent straw man implication while you're at it. Can't stand it. What's up, heavy breather? Do you have evidence that the Earth is a sphere?
Heavy breather.
Sounds like you're doing something, bro. I don't know what you're doing.
All right, I'll take it. So all those quotes that you were showing, so they were telling the truth then, but lying about everything else?
Lying about what?
You're the one saying that they're lying about the shape of the Earth, but then you show quotes,
I
and
didn't
you say
say that
they're
were- I
telling the
didn't-
truth now, but they're lying about
Who's-
everything else.
Who is Dayton Miller?
He's a physicist.
In regards to what?
When I was in college, I studied Hubble. Like, when you brought up the Hubble quote, he found that the
Okay.
universe, that all the galaxies are moving
But
in
by his
random
own
directions. He
admittance-
found that the
Okay,
universe
let's
was
bring
what
up
he
the
called
Hubble quote.
homogeneous.
You're correct. Let's talk about Hubble then, since you brought up Hubble, right? When
Sure.
he first made observations through his telescope, everything appeared to revolve around the Earth. This is definitive.
Not
This is
revolve
way
around
that
the
we-
Earth, but he found that everything moved independently of each other.
No, not necessarily. Everything moves in uniform in a cyclical pattern,
That's not what he said.
independent of each other. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're moving. He found that the galaxies are moving in randomized directions. There's no general theme to how the galaxies are moving. He called the universe homogeneous.
That's not even true. It's not homogeneous. What's the
That's what he.
definition of
That's what he. That's the
homogeneous?
word that he used to describe it. Homogeneous universe.
What's the definition of homogeneous?
Homogeneous means that everything is like a mixed well. Like there's no bulky areas. It's all thoroughly mixed. Meaning that
That
there's like it looks like
defies.
one substance.
Okay, yes, that is essential, but that doesn't align with the way that you phrased it the first time. That caused confusion. So,
All
if
right.
everything appears to revolve around the earth as if it is in a state of rest, I can't find that quote, but I actually, you know what, I do have it somewhere. Let me look up my Google Drive.
Sure.
But in the meantime, everything appears to revolve around the earth as if it's in a state, as if and forget the state of rest portion, but everything that we observe gives the impression that the earth is geocentric. That is the argument. And it's not
He
a
didn't
matter
say
about
that
a
it
person.
appears
Just stop
geocentric. He
talking.
said that you can't
I didn't
disprove
say
it.
that he did. Yeah,
That's what
okay,
you
fine.
just said.
No, that's not what I said. I said it gives the impression. I wasn't quoting him at that point. Stop. Dude,
Oh.
you need to like actually give some good faith to this discussion. It might take you places, I
I
assure you.
feel as though I am. I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, you
I'm
you
not.
wouldn't know
I'm
good
not
faith. Okay.
adversarial. We just have a difference in opinion. You know.
I would argue that you're pretty adversarial, brother. Let me
I'm sorry you feel
see.
that way.
These aren't labeled. I just have a Google Drive filled with like a lot of quotes. Do you want to see Newton? What Newton thought about it?
Sure.
I gotta find the one that's not in Latin. Believe it's this one. I might as well just leave my camera off, because this is just what we're doing tonight, it seems. In Newton's Proposition 43, Theorem 22, which was actually not published in his Principia Mathematics.
Okay.
This one was not published. It never made it to publishing. For example, if two balls at a given distance from each other with a cord connecting them were revolving around a common center of gravity, the endeavor of the balls to recede from the axis of motion could be known from the tension of the cord, and thus the quantity of circular motion would be computed. Now, if some distant bodies were set in that space and maintained given positions with respect to one another, as the fixed stars do in our region, it could not, of course, be known from the relative change of the position of the balls among the bodies of whether the motion was to be attributed to the bodies or to the balls. So he was explaining relative motion using the stars moving around the earth as an example. But if the cord was examined and its tension was found to be the very one which the motion of the balls required, it would legitimate. It would be legitimate. Sorry, it would be legitimate to conclude that the motion belonged to the balls or the bodies were at rest. And there's another quote where he said, "For such a force, acting on all bodies equally along parallel lines, did not change their position among themselves, and permits bodies to move among themselves through the force of universal gravity in the same way as if it were not acting on them." There's a part where and thus celestial bodies can move around the earth at rest as in the Tychonic system. Do you know what the Tychonic system is?
I'm not sure.
Tycho
I probably
Brahe.
heard of it,
He
but
was-
the beginning of that quote starts with, or not that quote, but that excerpt starts with, for the Earth to be at the center of the star system, for that to be true, these things need to be met. That's what he said.
No, he's saying that we observe it that way. He
Read
was,
the first.
buddy,
read
I
the-
just
read the
read
first
it all
part.
to you. I just read it all to you, brother.
The first paragraph. The
Your
one that you didn't read.
misunderstanding of it. The first paragraph is written in Latin. Oh, I'm
In
sorry, I
order
thought that
for
was-
the Earth to be at rest in the center. Okay.
Sorry.
In order for the
Center of
Earth to be
system
at
of the
rest in the
sun,
center of the
planets and
system of the sun,
comets.
planets,
There's-
comets.
You don't have to read it
required
at the
both
same
universal-
time. We don't have to read it at the same time. I will do you the pleasure of reading it, buddy. I don't want to be spoken over. There is required both universal gravity and another force in addition that acts. I'm echoing. And another force in addition that acts on all bodies equally according to quantity of matter in each of them, and is equal to and opposite to the acceleration. Yeah, that's just Newton's.
Yeah, but then
Third
the
law?
rest is explaining how that would be true. For such a force acting on all bodies equally along a parallel lines, you see how he's framing it like this, like in order for this to be true, subsequently all of these
That's
things
not.
need to be true.
He's saying that he describes relative motion. He's essentially saying what Einstein said 500 years later, that you don't have an inertial reference frame and that you cannot definitively prove it from where you stand on the Earth, regardless of how good your telescope is. That's not
Yeah,
what I'm
but it's
looking
hard to
for.
like interpret Newtonian physics because it was before relativity. It was before Einstein's theory of relativity. So it's like an incomplete explanation of what Einstein builds upon.
I'm just giving you like rational evidence from I have plenty more, bro. From reputable sources throughout history leaning towards geocentrism that you've never heard
Sure.
of. This is the original in Latin. That's what that is.
Wow.
Um,
That's pretty cool, actually.
yeah, do some
Well,
research, buddy.
I have to go soon. I have to take a phone
Oh
call.
yeah, you're too much. Yeah, I get it. It's cool,
5
bro.
minutes. I do appreciate the conversation, though. You seem
No, you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't, bro. That's cool. You don't have to lie to me. I hate when they lie to me. I hate when they're like, "Oh yeah, but like I want to talk about this, but just, when I in my own time, right? Like even though I chose to come up here and act like a complete piece of shit, I want to talk about this. I just don't want to talk about it right now. I hate when they do that, bro. It's so fucking annoying. I'm trying to find the one that I just had prior to this. These are all from excerpts of books. I feel like these are out of order now for some reason. I don't know. I don't feel like reading an entire page of a book. There was one that I pulled up a minute ago and it wasn't the right one. Now they're not even in the... Hold on. What? Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I think it was this one. No? Oh my god, dude. Here. Galileo's observations of the phases and relative size of Venus. Oh my god, I gotta sell it forever. And of the occasional gibbous phase of Mars proved that Venus, presumably, and the other planets move in orbits around the sun, which is what the Tychonian model assumes. They assume that everything moves around the sun, everything orbits the sun, and that the sun, of course, does its motion over the Earth. Fuck, I don't know how to highlight. I don't think I can. There is no planetary observation by which we on Earth can prove that the Earth is moving in an orbit around the sun. Whoa! This is all Galileo's discovery. Thus all Galileo's discovery with the telescope can be accommodated to the system invented by Tycho Brahe. Whoa! Fire my secretary. Yeah. Just before Galileo began his observations of the heavens. Thus, in the Tychonian systems, the planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn move in orbits around the sun, while the sun moves in an orbit around the Earth. They still assumed geocentrism, of course, meaning Earth sphere, sun orbit. But if you map that out on an azimuthal grid, if you just track out the analemma and the actual known path of the sun, and then you make all of the planets orbit the sun in their own individualized cycles, the model still works. Furthermore, the daily rotation of the heavens is communicated to the sun and planets so that the Earth in itself neither rotates nor revolves in an orbit. Tychonian system appealed to those who sought to save the immobility of the Earth while accepting some of the Copernican innovations, meaning they were leaning towards the idea of the Earth being a sphere, but not necessarily towards us orbiting a sun. I can't remember which. I should have labeled these when I put all of these in here because I don't remember which ones are which. They all just say screenshot, which is unfortunate. In the United States, Albert Michelson and Edward Morley had performed the experiment which confronted scientists with an appalling choice. Designed to show the existence of ether, it yielded a null result, which is not true. That's a complete straw man. Leaving science with the alternative of tossing aside the key which had helped them explain the phenomena of electricity, magnetism, and light, or of deciding that the Earth was not in fact moving at all. So Einstein and himself admitted that that was a possibility when he misunderstood the ether results, or the Michelson-Morley results. The problem that faced science was considerable, for there seemed to be only three alternatives. The first was that the Earth was standing still, which meant scuttling the whole Copernican theory and was unthinkable. I think that's Edwin Hubble. I'm pretty sure that's Edwin Hubble. I don't know why when I clipped it, I don't know why I didn't leave the names and stuff in there. Maybe that wasn't an option for that one in particular. There's a few more, but I've had these for a really long time. It's both amusing and instructive to speculate on what might have happened if such an experiment could have been performed in the 16th or 17th centuries, when men were debating the rival merits of the Copernican and Ptolemaic. Ptolemy was another geocentric person. The results would surely have been interpreted as conclusive evidence for the immobility of the Earth, and therefore as a triumphant vindication of the Ptolemaic system, an irrefutable falsification of the Copernican hypothesis. They're talking about MMX. If they were able to repeat Michelson-Morley in the 16th or 17th centuries, when Copernican and Ptolemy were butting heads, so to speak, the result would surely have been conclusive evidence for the Earth's lack of motion. The moral of this historical fantasy is that it is often dangerous to believe in the absolute verification or falsification of a scientific hypothesis. All judgments of this type are necessarily made in some historical context, which may be drastically modified by the changing perspective of human knowledge. G.J. Withrow. Structure of Evolution of the Universe. I left some of the names in, at least I guess some of the ones that they were able to get it all in one picture. Thus we may return to Ptolemy's point of view of a motionless Earth. This would mean that we use a system of reference rigidly fixed, God, I cannot read today, rigidly fixed to the Earth, which all stars are performing a rotational motion with the same angular velocity around the Earth's axis. One has to show that the transformed metric can be regarded as produced according to Einstein's field equations by distant rotating masses. So you just make them farther and mathematically work that out, essentially. This has been done by Thuring. I'm not sure who that is. He calculated a field due to a rotating hollow thick-walled sphere, and proved that inside the cavity it behaved as though it were centrifugal and other inertial forces usually attributed to absolute space. Thus, from Einstein's point of view, Ptolemy and Copernicus are equally right. Remember, these two are adversaries, so they really can't be. You know, what point of view is chosen is a matter of expediency for some reason. So whichever benefits them, essentially. The struggle so violent in the early days of science between the views of Ptolemy and Copernicus would then be quite meaningless. Either coordinate system could be used with equal justification. The two sentences, the sun is at rest and the earth moves, or the sun moves and the earth is at rest, would simply mean two different conventions converting two different coordinate systems. Albert Einstein, The Evolution of Physics, From Early Concepts to Relativity and Quanta. Einstein said this himself, that could just as easily be geocentric, just like Ptolemy had postulated many years before him. I forget when Ptolemy was alive, so I will not say, but that's a quick Google search away for anybody who's curious. Galileo's observation, this is the one that I read to that other guy, I remember, because it was so blurry. I think that's it. But these are the quotes. Oh no, there's a lot more. Oops. That one's like a whole page. I don't think I have any that are, oh, these are a bunch of short ones. A whole list of short ones. I could send these to people too if anybody wants them. This whole folder, this one folder is filled with all of these geocentric quotes. Of course, I should have labeled them I guess maybe I told myself that I would go back and do it at a later time. Never did get around to doing that. I have Zetetic Astronomy in here. I have the entire theory of relativity in here. I have the electromagnetic nature of gravitation in here, which is quite a read. You could always like run this through AI and just like break it all down for you. Shape of Earth, relational mechanics in Mach Weber, Newtonian mechanics, Newton-Machian analysis of the Neo-Tychonian model. So this is a new age Tychonian model, neo meaning new, that assumes Mach's principle, which is again a lot more than I can read just right here, but very, very, very interesting stuff. Even just the abstract alone. Geocentric Earth. It's much, much, much easier than people make it out to be. Of course, they'll always tell you that a geocentric Earth is completely impossible. It wouldn't work. What about the perihelion shift of Mercury? Like, what about retrograde? And it's like, what about all of the things that you're essentially asking me? What about all of the things that Ptolemy postulated when he first designed his geocentric model? What about all of those things? Like, it's so weird how these people think. What's up, Bethany? I have the 1804 Bible in here. The entire thing. Oh. Couldn't preview. File is too large. Okay. Well, it's still in there. It's just I need to download software to read it probably. Or download it separately. I don't know what this is. Oh, user's manual for linear. This has to do with how they assume that the Earth is flat and stationary. I forget what page it's on, but they assume that the Earth is flat and stationary. I think it's in one of these first sentences. Linear. I'm not gonna sit here and read all of this. I know it's in here somewhere that they say a flat and stationary Earth. And that's straight from NASA. Celestial refraction is good. I don't know what this is. Decades, space travel. I have no idea what this is or why it's in here. Mini review of propellantless propulsion technologies. Oh, this is probably like ionic propulsion, if I had to guess. Maybe something in regards to that. Yeah, probably. Conventional rocket and space shuttle schematic, outline diagrams. That's not very specific. I'd have to go through all this stuff again. This is something I started working on like a year ago. It's just like this entire, I don't even remember what half of this stuff is. Maxwell's equations and electromagnetic waves. Interesting stuff. But it's just like a flat Earth Google Drive folder I started a really long time ago. I have all of Richard Feynman's lectures in regards to the electrostatic gradient in the atmosphere in here. I even have a playlist from Gene Techman on. This probably isn't going to work. You'd have to copy this link and put it into YouTube, but it has like a playlist from Gene Techman, like really good long distance observations that are on YouTube. Cosmological evidence shows central and non-rotating or non-moving Earth by Robert A. I don't know, a PhD, by a PhD. Interesting. I don't even remember this one. There's the cosmic microwave background. And I'll be the first to admit, a lot of this is like over my head. Like, but the bullet points speak for themselves. Like a lot of these, you can typically just read like the introduction. Like here it references Michelson-Morley, interferometry experiments, but rejected by modern science in favor of special relativity. Yeah. So they got swept under the rug by Einstein. Go figure. One of the most misunderstood experiments of all time, by the way, Michelson-Morley. This is a YouTube video of some kind, or a Google Doc maybe. I don't know exactly what this is, but you'd have to copy the link. And but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Newton's proposition, where he said that, well, this is in Latin, but he said that the Ptolemaic model was equally as viable, essentially. Discussing the debate between Copernicus and Ptolemy. I love AI, dude. It's so useful sometimes. And there's like Flat Earth Wiki stuff in here too. Oh my god, there's so much stuff in here. Foucault's pendulum, Michelson-Gale, ring laser gyroscope, Sagnac, time dilation by latitude. That's really interesting. Whenever somebody tells you that Bob Nodal guy proved that the Earth was in motion, they didn't account for time dilation by latitude. Because if it changes with latitude, then it's not the Earth moving now, is it? Coriolis effect, a couple on that. Aviation, Aries failure. This is, you'd have to copy the links for these too, unfortunately. But anyway, I know this isn't the most exciting live, but I wanted to share this with people for a really long time. I just never really felt like it was complete. I still don't think it's complete. I always wanted this to be like gigabytes worth of stuff. You know what I mean? Just like so much shit. You just irrefutable, undeniable proof that the Earth is at the very least geocentric. From like very credible sources all throughout history. Never really got around to finishing it, but anyway, I guess I'll just wrap it up now. I don't know who's still here, but I appreciate you guys for like watching me just scroll through that for I don't know how long. Like I said, if you guys want a copy of this, I can always send you the link to the Google Drive, and you can scroll through this stuff yourself. It's interesting stuff. It's not completed, but anyway. Thank you guys for 35K. You guys are amazing. And I don't know if I'll go live again tomorrow night or not, but I'm grateful that I went live tonight. It was pretty I was not going to, but I decided to. So I'm glad that I did. You'll take a copy, DM me, because I'll forget otherwise. Yeah, DM me and I'll send you guys a copy of it if you want. It's just a Google Drive folder. You can put it onto like a flash drive or something if you want to, or you probably fit it all onto like a CD if you wanted to. It's not a whole lot of stuff in there. I mean, in terms of like storage space, like most of it's just like PDF and text documents. It won't really take up a lot of space on your computer or anything, or your cell phone or whatever. So just send me a DM and I'll message you guys with it if you guys are interested. No, dude, thank you. Don't have to thank me. It's free information, or at least it should be. I found it for free. I didn't have to pay for any of it. Why should anybody else have to pay for it? That's how I've always felt about this stuff. You know what I mean? And it saves you guys a lot of time. You know, it didn't take me forever to find some of that stuff, but I had to do some digging to find a lot of that stuff. You know, it doesn't exactly pop up on page 1 of Google, if you know what I mean. So, and it's an accumulation of probably like at least like 6 months. Back when I was actively adding to it, it was like a steady 6 months that I was like constantly putting stuff in it. These days I've left it untouched for a really long time. So, but regardless, there's quite a lot of stuff in there, and it's totally free. And all you got to do is click it and open it, and just read it. And like if there's anything in there you don't understand, just copy the whole thing, post it into like Gemini or ChatGPT, and have it give you a summary. If you tell ChatGPT to explain it to you like you're 10 years old, it'll do that. So I truly believe like this is the world of like the world that we exist in today. Like ignorance is 100% a choice, and I'm not calling anybody ignorant, but I'm saying like there's really no excuse to not understand these things anymore. Like it can break it down to you in very simple terms and help you understand it. So where have I been? Spinning balls, spinning out of control. We need your voice. I've been around, bro. I've been on my main account. It's banned right now, but I've been live every day for like a week, brother. You might just maybe you don't follow me on my main. I don't know. or maybe you don't see me. I know my main is like kind of shadow banned sometimes. Like sometimes it's hard to get. It doesn't even send people notifications. You know what I mean? But I've been told that things aren't going so well in the flat Earth community. You did the hard part finding the stuff. Yeah. Um, well, I'll be honest, a lot of that stuff I found from you follow me? Yeah, I know you I know you do. I've seen you a lot. Um, I was just I was grasping at straws to be honest with you, friend. I have no idea why you wouldn't see me. Other than the fact that TikTok does censor me pretty heavily. But as I was saying, a lot of that stuff I got from watching Austin Whitsitt videos, and when he would bring up a PDF, I would pause the screen and like read the headline of it, read the title of it, and I gotta refresh this browser. Um, and copy and paste that into Google to try to find it. And some of them were easy to find than others, but yeah, if I think what's tomorrow, the 1st? I get my main account back on the 2nd. So, I'll be back on that on Monday. So, I've been trying to go live as often as I can. I can't give this too much of my time, but my spare time is all I can really give it. You know what I mean? Dude, this keeps saying my browsers. I'm just gonna have to close the browser and reopen it. It's probably because I have TikTok still open. But I don't know. I'm around. I was on Focal Points live like maybe 20-30 minutes before I started this one, but that was boring. He's awful, dude. Like like no critical analytical skills whatsoever. Just ask me a bunch of meaningless trivia in regards to mathematics and expect that to prove something. Like they're not trying to prove that the earth is a sphere. They're trying to prove that flat earth is stupid, and they're trying to prove that their opponents are stupid. That's their prerogative, right? Like their goal is not to prove the shape of the earth to you, because they know they can't do that. Like there's a part of them that's very well aware that they can't definitively prove it. They just won't be intellectually honest and admit it, or they're shills and they're agents and they're being paid off or whatever, right? It could be anything. But their goal is not to disprove you or to prove themselves correct. It's to make the flat earth sound and look as ridiculous as possible, and to ask whoever they come up across, right? However many whoever they can get as an opponent. Their goal is to ask you a bunch of absolutely meaningless trivia that has nothing to do with anything, and just hope that you can't answer at least one of those questions so that they can feel good about themselves and that they can convince an audience member or two that they're winning because they knew the answer to one question. That's not how you win a debate, by the way. It's not a matter of knowing the most questions to all of the, or knowing the most answers to all of the questions. It's more a matter of like being able to provide the most evidence and the most logical reasoning while you provide answers or while you provide evidence, right? That like the trivia is meaningless. You can tell these people have like serious problems with the way that they process information. Burn myself out. Yeah, and it's hard, bro. I'm gonna go back to like an older version of me though, where I just don't like, as soon as they start to get off the handles a little bit, I don't care how anybody feels about it, dude. I'm dropping them. I don't need to milk these people. At one point, like I was kind of trying to milk people for content a little bit. Fuck that, dude. I don't care. It's insufferable. Like it doesn't benefit me much to it benefits me a little but not much to milk them for everything. Like they're not worth anything anyway. You know, like I make them look stupid and it still doesn't really prove anything. It just like gives me a dopamine hit and that's it, you know. And even it doesn't really do much of that anymore. Anyway, it's almost 10 o'clock. I gotta get off of here. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow, maybe not, I don't know. But tonight wasn't so bad. Tonight was like okay. I think there was one conversation where it was like pretty decent. I'll probably upload this live stream to YouTube, especially because I just went over all those geocentric quotes. I feel like that would be a good video to post. So that'll be there. And yeah. Anyway, appreciate you guys for coming, and I'll see you guys in the next couple of days. I might just wait until Monday when I get my account back, but who knows. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.